New earthquake hits SW Puerto Rico, June 28, 2020. USGS has updated the quake's magnitude to 4.9 after manual revision. Another 4.7 quake followed within 2 minutes. This reduces the probability for damage. However, minor damage like cracks in buildings is still likely, as many of the buildings near the epicenter were already damaged by previous quake. The new epicenter is located near the town Guanaca. The earthquake sequence in southwestern Puerto Rico continues. A new, rather strong earthquake has hit the area on Sunday morning. According to preliminary USGS data, the quake reached magnitude 5.3 and it was felt almost everywhere in Puerto Rico. The epicenter is located southwest of Auxaca. Minor damage in towns close to the epicenter is likely. Types of earthquakes and their classifications. Definition of earthquakes. Earthquakes are vibrations that occur to the Earth's crust, and these vibrations occur because the interior of the Earth is unstable, in addition to the sudden and rapid release of energy contained in the rocks. Earthquakes have major effects on humans due to their sudden occurrence, in addition to the unpredictability, leaving effects that are divided into two parts. The first section is called the primary effects, which affect buildings and lead to the appearance of cracks, while secondary effects result in changes in the water surface level. It may also lead to floods, fires, and landslides. Types of earthquakes. According to the cause of origin, scientists have discovered a set of important causes that lead to the occurrence of earthquakes, and accordingly earthquakes can be divided into two main parts: 3 natural earthquakes. These earthquakes arise from other natural phenomena or are associated with them, such as earthquakes accompanying the movement of the rift, which leads to very strong earthquakes, and these earthquakes occur when the layers of the Earth's crust are suddenly broken, and this breakage produces a great energy that leads to earthquakes. Volcanic earthquakes. These are the earthquakes that accompany volcanic activities, especially if the region in which the volcano is a weak region. The rate of occurrence of earthquakes in this case is very large. Artificial earthquakes. The occurrence of earthquakes in this case comes due to human interventions in nature, and one of the most important of these interventions, the withdrawal of groundwater by humans, as this process is a major reason for the occurrence of light tremors due to the reason this cloud causes a drop in the soil. Nuclear explosions by humans may lead to earthquakes, and are classified as deep earthquakes, due to the weakness of these layers in the crust layers. The large number of dams building and storing water in them, because these dams cause a great pressure on the layers of the Earth's crust. Incorrectly extracting minerals and coal from mines, leading to sudden collapses in the crust layers. Human injection operations to remove liquid waste or when producing oil. Types of earthquakes according to their depth. Earthquakes are divided according to the depth of their focus into several sections, which are 3 surface earthquakes. They are also called shallow earthquakes, and their depth reaches 60 kilometers or less, and are close to the surface of the Earth. Intermediate earthquakes. These earthquakes have a depth of 60 to 300 kilometers. Deep earthquakes. These earthquakes may reach up to 700 kilometers in depth. Phenomena preceding earthquakes. There are a group of phenomena that appear before earthquakes occur, including 2 phenomena that occur near shores, such as high water levels, as well as high waves, despite the fact that the wind is light and calm. A difference in the nature of the magnetic field, in addition to a difference in the electrical conductivity of rocks in the region. Attractive and unusual movements of birds and animals, and these movements are random, such as the constant barking of dogs, as well as the exit of animals from their homes and nests in an unpredictable way. Natural. The difference that appears in the height of the water in the wells along the fault line. Earthquake effects. There are a group of earthquake effects that include 3 human losses. Physical losses related to the infrastructure and metadata of cities, such as the destruction of roads and buildings. The occurrence of fires. Difference in marine waves. The occurrence of rock slides. Cracks and cracks appear on the surface of the Earth. Strongest earthquakes. When speaking about earthquakes, we must mention the strongest of these earthquakes that occurred since 1900 AD, and among these earthquakes, 4 in 1960 AD, a violent earthquake struck the country of Chile, and its strength on the Richter scale reached 9.5 degrees, and this earthquake is the strongest and most powerful, as this earthquake killed 1,600 people, and left nearly 2 million homeless. The earthquake that struck Alaska in 1964 is the second largest earthquake to have occurred in the world. Its intensity was on the Richter scale 9.2 degrees, and it caused the tsunami that caused the death of 113 people. In 2004, a violent earthquake struck the Indonesian island of Sumatra, measuring 9.1 on the Richter scale, killing 227,898 people, and followed by violent and devastating tsunamis that spanned 14 countries. A noteworthy earthquake was the earthquake that struck Russia in 1952 AD. It had a magnitude of 9 on the Richter scale, and despite the intensity of its strength, it left no victims. The earthquake that struck Japan in 2010 is a strong and devastating earthquake, killing 507 people, and its strength on the Richter scale reached 8.9 degrees. In Alaska, there was a strong earthquake in 1965, which measured 8.7 on the Richter scale, but no information was received regarding victims or injuries. Measures to mitigate the risk of earthquakes. There are a set of measures that must be taken into consideration in order to reduce the risks caused by earthquakes, and these measures include: 3. Attention to seismic networks by building them, and working to maintain them periodically, based on our prior knowledge of the places in which they occurred earthquakes. Taking information about earthquakes and where they occurred, this is to know the type of buildings that can be built in each region. Interest in spreading awareness among people and training them on how to act and carry out evacuations in the event of an earthquake, in addition to training them in first aid operations in anticipation of injuries. Training the human cotters in the civil defense on how to deal with the danger, as well as training them on how to evacuate homes and buildings in the event of an earthquake.